Vin, episode 13, and what better way to celebrate? If you look up the term bodybuilding X-frame, our guest is one of the top 10 pictures on there. But don't let me say any more. Please introduce the man of the hour.
Tony Freeman. We met, God, how long ago? I'm going to say 1993. Yeah, 1993 at the Junior Nationals in Baltimore, where you won the super heavyweight class, right?
Yeah. I don't know if you remember this, but me and you probably were the first people at the hotel to check in. And
I was just saying, yeah, we met in the lobby.
Yeah, well, we actually met like your door was not too far from my door, and we opened the door and we saw each other. It was like instant. And of course, you did well and I did well, and so we've been buds ever since.
Yeah, and you racked up what? You won the Europa 3 times.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you won the Nationals in 2002.
Yeah.
Super heavyweight and overall. You got 3 Europa wins. You got the Ironman,
Sacramento.
Sacramento Pro, and the Tampa.
Yeah.
So you racked it up in top 10 in the Olympia. How many times?
Top 10 like 5 times. I think I did it 7 or 8 times total. Screwed up a couple of times. So a couple of times I screwed up. I got 14th one time, 15th one time, but every other time was like, I think I got 9th one time, and then the rest of the time was 7th, and I got 5th, of course, in 2008.
Cool. So one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on the show, and I'm really excited to talk about all this stuff, is that I heard your name being floated, been tossed around a lot with gut health and TRT, microdosing, and then I caught up with I met last year Emmerich, and he was teaching me a lot about microdosing and using Humanifort, and I've been on that protocol since October, but you've been leading the charge here, and just want to hear how you retired to what you're doing today with all that stuff, and balls in your court.
So when I retired, of course, I went out. I didn't want to retire. Of course, I don't think no athlete wants to retire. You want to do this for the rest of your life, and but I had to worry about my health, and I wasn't doing too good politically either. So I was just like, you know what? I wanted to retire at 50. I just picked that number, and so I made it to 49 and a half. And my last show was the Arnold Classic 2016. But I had a soft tissue injury, and so after the show, I went to a naturopath, and he did a bunch of muscle testing and told me exactly what was going on. I had a bunch of parasites, and he told me why I had the soft tissue injury that wouldn't heal, and so I just kind of just said, forget bodybuilding. I want to be healthy, and so I just started on that track. And I had been knowing Emmerich, but and I had been taking Humanifort because I used to use it for DOMS, for soreness. It used to help really big time, like recovering from soreness. And so when I in 2016, after that Arnold, I stopped taking everything. And of course, you're not really supposed to do it like that. You're supposed to kind of come off slowly or whatever. So me and Emmerich got to talking. He was telling me about microdosing, doing 10 milligrams a day, 10 to 20 milligrams a day. And I was like, what the hell is that going to do? And of course, I had to try it, and it works really well. And when my wife was going through cancer, I went to go get, I went through all the therapy with her, not the conventional stuff, but all the natural stuff. I went through all that with her. And the lady that showed me how to fast and cleanse, we got to talking about testosterone and all that. And she was saying, that, you need to come off everything. And so I was just like, that's kind of hard to do. And she introduced me to using bull testicles and a lot of different herbs. So I've been on that for the last 4 or 5 years. And I just got my blood work done about 10 days ago. And my test was 552 and my estrogen was like 30. So I probably can bring that down a little bit, but I was happy with that. And so I'm just like, everything works. And the only thing different is the way that the weights feel when you train. One thing that, supplementation does is help you recover, but it also just makes training feel better. So like now I got to the point where I can actually make it hurt again. But before it was hurting all by itself. Kind of, I felt I was talking to a buddy of mine. He said it's kind of like you feel like Tin Man. You know what I'm saying? Like how you would think the Tin Man would feel. Like you're all stiff and sore and achy, and yeah, I don't. That part I can live without.
Are you still using the Humana for it?
Oh yeah, I use it daily. I actually started back on T after I got my blood work, just to do the 10 milligram protocol, and just to see what happens. I want to see after I talked to you. You was telling me yours was like 1100 or something. I was like, well, shoot, let me.
Yeah.
Because 10 milligrams, which is basically 5 units on the insulin needle, which is really about 12.5 milligrams. If you're doing the cypionate. So yeah, I've been doing that for about 8 days now. Feel a lot better in the gym, a lot better. I actually squatted yesterday. I squatted last week too. I did 3 sets of 20 just with one plate just to see what it felt like. And I was able to do 4 or 5 sets yesterday. So
that's cool.
Way back up.
Tony, would you, so I had a couple of people emailing me wondering about, because some people have heard about the parasites and I guess from the tuna. Could you maybe take a minute or two to explain exactly how that came about?
Yeah, so I'll tell you how I found out about it. So the naturopath, and I'm gonna talk fast, and I know we only got an hour. So the naturopath, they do muscle testing, and so he told me, he's doing all kinds of muscle testing. And he was like, yo, your left kidney is stressed, and I'm like, no shit, I pissed like 22 times off a third of a diazide. So I knew something was wrong. And he said, you also have a parasite. He said, you have a couple of them. I'm like, well, what kind? He's like, well, I don't know. And so he gave me some herbs or whatever. And then about 2 or 3 weeks later, I went to a FitCon in Utah. And there's a guy out there who had a machine called the Metatron. And this machine, it's Russian artificial intelligence. You put these little nodes on your head, and the machine has a conversation with your brain, and it tells you everything about the person. And it has a 3D screen. So I'm watching the screen, and I'm not saying nothing. The guy's talking, and I'm just watching the screen. So it starts to scan my body, and it showed something in my neck, which I had neck issues. It showed my pec tear. My left kidney popped up, and something in my knee popped up, and I was just like, well, damn. And so after it finished, it takes about 20, 30 minutes to do the scan. So after the scan, we're talking, and he's explaining everything to me. And then I asked him about the kidney. So he clicks on the kidney, and he was like, your kidney's fine. I said, well, somebody told me I had a parasite. Doctor told me I had a parasite. So he did like this cross section. It shows the cross section of the kidney. This machine is amazing. And right in the bottom of my left kidney was like this little black spot. And the machine gives these color readings. So green is good, and then it goes all the way to black.
Okay.
So he clicks on the black spot, and this long word pops up, and then he clicks on the word, and I looked up, Googled the word, and it was a kidney worm. And I was like, wow. And then it clicked on it again. It says how you get it from eating raw fish. And at the time when I competed, especially my last couple of years, I was buying frozen sushi grade tuna for a long time. And then, we always trying to do better. So I found this company that sells fresh tuna, like out of Hawaii. So basically they catch it on Tuesday and FedEx it to you. You have it on Wednesday. And so I'm like, fresh has to be better. I was buying it in 3-pound blocks. And I'm almost certain that's where I got it from, because it goes straight out the ocean. They dress it and put it and send it to you. So I'm almost positive I got it. I ate 2 of those 3-pound blocks over a course of a month, and which was during that prep, my last prep. And so that's pretty much, I'm pretty sure I got it that way.
And did you is it removed now?
Oh, you want to know how I got rid of it? So in the Google search, they basically say there's no cure. There's no direct medicine. You have to basically kill the worm or remove the kidney. And of course, I wasn't removing the kidney. So I started on this whole trek, and that's how I actually got to where I am now. That's how I got into gut health and all that. Because I learned the process or the protocol to get rid of parasites. First, you have to starve them and suffocate them. Any live organism, you have to suffocate it, like cancer, all of that stuff. You have to remove its oxygen source, or with parasite, they like the low oxygen and the high acidic environment. So I started fasting. Autophagy is really good for that. Doing my herbs and basically, so the last phases of my cleansing, you gotta understand, this was like I don't know, maybe a 12 to 16 month process. It wasn't like, I didn't learn this overnight and go right to it. I learned it step by step by step.
Yeah.
And when I started, I was passing regular parasites, the ones that are in your bowels and all that. But one night I remember, well, actually before that, I watched this video about using gum spirits turpentine.
What's that?
Gum spirits turpentine, it's pure turpentine, not what you use in painting, but the pure stuff before they put the chemicals in it. It's basically pine sap that's distilled, it's basically distilled pine sap. But if you look on the bottle, it says gum spirit turpentine.
Mm-hmm.
So alcohol, they call spirits, right? Those are evil spirits. But these pure gum spirits, so I'm gonna just keep it real. You basically take sugar cubes and you drop like 3 or 4 drops of the turpentine on the sugar cube. And you have to do it after you fast. So I fasted for like 3 days. And then you eat the sugar cubes one at a time. And because parasites and bugs, they love the sugar. So when the sugar gets into your digestive tract, they come out and then the turpentine kills them. Well,
Interesting.
I took that stuff and I was scared. I was praying and I was, asking God to, to help me and remove this stuff from my body. And while I'm praying, I felt my kidney do like a flexing. It was the weirdest feeling, like it flexed, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't think nothing of it. I just thought it was weird because I know kidneys, it's a smooth muscle, so it shouldn't be able to flex. So anyway, the next morning I woke up and I'm using the bathroom, and I'm half groggy and I'm peeing, and all of a sudden it felt like I got struck by lightning. I mean, this crazy energy went through my body, and lo and behold, that worm shot up right out my penis and went in the toilet.
Jeez.
Well, it was about that long, and it reminded me of Big League Chew. Have you ever seen kids Big League Chew, the little pink gums, the stringy?
Yeah.
It looked exactly like that.
Holy shit!
Wow. Yeah, bro. Changed my life, bro. That's when I knew God was real. I was like, I'm a preacher's kid, so I came up in the church. But as a kid, you just go to church because your parents make you and all that. And I never had like any kind of like real connection or anything like that. And boy, that whole process of just eliminating all that stuff, because if you think about it, I started bodybuilding at 162 pounds. Well, at my heaviest, I was 323 pounds. That's basically double myself. And I was like a virgin, no alcohol, no nothing when I started lifting. So all those things for over those years, all the food, all the women, all the drugs, all the everything, that became a part of my flesh. That became a part of me. And so I had to peel those layers off in order to heal myself. And like I said, it took about 18 months. I went to the psychological depression first. Then I kind of found out, what my weaknesses were. I was very malnutrition, which is weird as a bodybuilder, eating 7 or 8 meals a day and having any kind of nutritional deficiencies. I used to spend all kinds of money on tests, very expensive tests, blood tests, urine tests, bioimpedance tests, saliva tests. That's what I was, my last, I turned pro at 36. So right when I got to 38, 39, 40, I realized, I got a shot at this thing. So I said, well, in order for me to actually achieve that, I got to last a long time. I used to always think about Sean Ray. He did 13 Olympias. And I'm like, the key to this bodybuilding thing is how long can you last? Everybody's good. Everybody at the top or whatever has good genetics and all that type of stuff. So I wanted to make myself last. So that's when I started studying detoxification, all the detox pathways. And I learned about doing ozone therapy to clean your blood, just all that stuff that I did. I think I've been talking about it over the years, and I still do quite a bit of that stuff, just because I know, the results that it gives.
I know we talked a long time ago about colonics.
Yeah.
And you were telling me where I should go, and that's an interesting an endeavor.
No, I don't think no heterosexual man wants nothing stuck up his butt. But the results that I used to get, you know, I got story after story after story. But I remember one Arnold Classic. So we go to the Arnold, and do the show, and then I went to Bogo de Pepe that night after the show. And I don't even know how much food I ate, man. It was so ridiculous. Because you know, Bogo de Pepe is it's like all you can eat. It's not all you can eat, but it's family style.
Yep.
And so I ate, I mean, I don't even know how much I ate. So my regimen was compete on Saturday, photo shoots and all that on Sunday, fly home on Monday, and then I would fly to Seattle on Tuesday morning. Because that's the only place, either Seattle or Vegas. It's the only place I knew where I could get ozone colonics. And the lady that was helping me, Mary Christine, the lady who made all my trunks, she lived in Seattle. So I would fly to Seattle Tuesday morning, get off the plane, get the rental car, go do my colonic, then go to her house. Well, after that freaking feast that I had that Saturday, I went to go get my colonic on Tuesday. And so as they're filling me up with water, man, my stomach, I mean, I couldn't even see my feet. My stomach, I'm laying on the table, my stomach is so huge. And I was like, what is wrong with me? He turns on the ozone, and all of that bread and yeast and all that stuff came out. My stomach went all the way down to abs again. I was just like,
Wow.
Holy crap. And so Melvin was with me. Melvin and a bunch of us was together. And I was just like, they ate just as much or if not more than me. And I know none of them didn't do what I did. So anyway, that was one of my secrets. That's how I was able to get up to 300 pounds and still have, 32-inch waist.
That's amazing.
Crazy. Toney, how tall are you? 6'2", 6'1"?
I'm 6'1" and some change. So 6'1" and 7/8 is
And how old are you now?
56.
Oh, we're the same age. I'll be 56 in 2 weeks.
You know,
Father time's been great to you, brother. Just to be completely honest.
Oh.
Yeah, he made me pay for it. I was looking at Mike Tyson the other day, and he said, "God punishes you by giving you what you want." And I was just like, because I wanted, bodybuilding. I wanted to be the best in the world, and I got close. You know what I mean? And but I had to pay for all that, and I had to like I say, peel all of that back to get back to the real me. I remember almost coming back to my consciousness, realizing that I was in a trance for 20-something years. I literally did not care about I was like this. I didn't care about nothing else but achieving my goals. And when I snapped out of it, I was just like, whoa. It was really weird, but I'm very, very grateful. It taught me a lot. And now I'm just kind of trying to, help other people, show them what I know, and I'm still learning every day too.
Now, do you think that if you got a young bodybuilder or somebody on a pro circuit today that's in their 20s and they start applying what you're doing, do you think it would prolong their career?
Oh, 100%. So I've helped several guys. I know who Gerald Williams is. And Gerald is a brain. Gerald has a master's degree and all of that. I remember he started training with me when he was 23. When 2007, I think 2008, he started training with me, and he did everything I did, and I taught him all that stuff. So he did his whole pro career. I mean, he even tore his pec like me and everything, and he did all the stuff that I did in his career. And Gerald's really smart, so he came to bodybuilding, turned pro, did really good. I think he might even won a show, and now he's an amazing businessman and a father. So I'm proud of him. Cool. But somebody like my son, who's been lifetime natural, he would really be able to do some things.
Does your son compete?
No, he has I got 2 grandbabies. He's married. He got his own brand. He trains, athletes, trains tons of people. So he's doing it the right way, kind of like Simeon Panda. You know what I'm saying? Like they used to compete, but he's a millionaire because bodybuilding doesn't really pay. It definitely doesn't equal what it takes. You know what I'm saying? Like you can make some money, but I spent all my money doing it. All the money, all the shows I won, all the money I made, I used it, I paid my bills and all that, but I used that money to do what I was doing. And, any young buck, I would tell them, I'm like, do it because you love it, but just do the other things that you're supposed to do the grown man stuff you're supposed to do as well.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, I was telling Vinny off air, you may be one of the last competitors that would compete multiple times a year. Because I was looking at your history, 4, 5, 6 shows a year, and you're lucky if somebody does 2 shows a year.
Yeah, it was a business to me, and I'm one of those type of dudes. I used to tell people, I said, riddle me this. Name something you can get better at without actually doing it. And it's nothing. So, when people every time someone saw me, they didn't have to know who I was. They knew I was somebody. And I tell people, if you need surgery and you had a choice of doctors, you're going to find the most experienced doctor, the one that done the most surgeries that you need. If you need an attorney, you're not going to hire somebody that never goes to court. You see what I'm saying? So as a professional bodybuilder, I wanted to represent the sport every time somebody see me, no matter where it is. And some people didn't know if he was a wrestler or a football player, but they knew he was dedicated to something. And I used to have to school them on bodybuilding, because a lot of people they know now, but they didn't really know this.
Now, do you currently still take care of yourself with the colonic?
I do enemas now. Conic's a pain in the ass, no pun intended. Enemas real easy. I can do it at home. It takes about 15 minutes and I'm done. I do coffee enemas and I do hydrogen peroxide enemas because there's still I'm still like recently I'm still passing parasites and bugs because they keep coming back. You gotta understand, you have to make yourself an unfavorable host. We are all mammals, so no one is immune. Every single person that you see and know has microbiome. That's what parasites are. They're microbiome. You have friendly microbiome and you have unfriendly microbiome. And the problem is your immune system keeps all that stuff in check. But like I say, if you're eating, 5,000 calories a day, right?
Yeah.
You're taking in bugs. If you're drinking unpure water, you're taking in bugs. If you, walk outside, their bugs are everywhere if you got pets. So if you are a favorable host, they're gonna move in and they don't pay rent either.
Have you stopped eating sushi?
Oh yeah. I've had sushi probably 2 or 3 times since 2016. I love sushi.
I love sushi too. I'm thinking of what you're saying. And I'm like,
you got to understand, the wasabi and the ginger, that's for the bugs. That's for the parasites. That's not for flavor. The wasabi and the ginger that they give you,
yeah,
that's to kill the bugs.
Did not know that.
Ain't for flavor. That's
I just actually learned that myself too recently. My wife eats a lot of it, and she says, "Oh, the ginger, it helps kill and detoxify or whatever."
Yep. That ginger wasabi is for the bugs.
Wow. So let's go back a little bit. How did you get involved in bodybuilding? What was your first show? How did you, come to? Hey, I want to be a bodybuilder.
A lot, or I used to tell it a lot. So I was in a long distance relationship with my ex-wife, Nico's mom, my son's mom, and I used to travel back and forth to Savannah. And one day we're on because half of my relationship I'm on the phone with her. She was like, "Oh, I met this guy named Toney. He's a bodybuilder, in Savannah." I'm like, whatever. I don't care nothing about no dude. So anyway, I drive down there home that weekend, and she's in the kitchen cooking, and I'm in the bedroom chilling. And I see these 8x10s on her desk of this bodybuilder dude. And I'm just like, who the hell is this? And she was like, "Oh, that's my friend Toney." Because she said he reminds me of you. And so when I looked at him and I'm looking at me, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm holding this picture. I'm just like, the only thing similar about us is our names. I don't look nothing like that. At the time I'm 162 pounds. And I'm just like, I'm like, okay, I put the picture down. I'm not a jealous dude, but I had the recognized game. I'm like, damn, this dude is good looking, ripped, and all. And so, matter of fact, he did the Junior Nationals with us that year.
Who was that?
93, Antonio Underwood.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, I go home. I drive home. I'm driving home like this, from Savannah. Like I got to join the gym. So at the time I was doing construction, and I got off of work. And I still had all the sheetrock dust all over me. I went to the gym and, I'm peeping in the window. And so that's how I started. I was inspired to get my shit together for this dude accidentally take my woman. And so when I quit my job in Atlanta and moved back to Savannah because I was like, I got to be close. Now I can't be in this long distance shit. I had to be close. So I got down there and I went and joined the gym where he worked out at and became his workout partner. And I learned everything he know. I was a sponge back then. That's all I wanted to know, everything about bodybuilding. I studied. I bought all the books. Magazines was out, but they had actual books. It's not like the internet now. They had actual books back then. High intensity bodybuilding, super high intensity bodybuilding. Advanced techniques of the bodybuilders and Arnold Schwarzenegger and stuff. I bought all that shit and read it from cover to cover. Tried every single exercise. I did power bodybuilding. I did it all, and that's that's how I am. Everything that I do, I try to dive all the way in and learn as much as I can.
And what was your first show?
Mr. Savannah. So they had 2 shows in one, Mr. Savannah and Mr. Coastal Empire. And I got 4th place in the big show, and I got 2nd place in the smaller show. And I was mad I got 2nd place. I was mad. I was just like, I should have won, but whatever. And but that right there got me started. And I didn't really respect the game back then. Basically back then my diet was Wendy's chicken breast with no bun and a baked potato and metrics. That was my diet. I mean, that's it. That's as far as I went.
The base and the plus.
Huh?
The base
and the plus. Exactly.
Yep.
I mean, I had 5 of those a day, and I went to Wendy's twice a day. That's literally. Sometimes I would have oatmeal or Captain Crunch for breakfast, and that's literally, for years. For the first few years, that's all I did. And this is how my prep. So they would say, they would announce the show, or I'd see a poster in the gym, and I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna do that, and then I would just go do it. And I won most of the time, so I was like, okay, I'm winning. So I remember. So back then it was AAU, and I went and did the AAU Junior USA, and I met some real bodybuilders, and they humbled me. And then after that, I got serious. So 1991, because I competed at 199, 199, but 198 and a quarter was the cutoff for light heavyweight.
Right.
And so I used to compete at 199 all the time. So I was like, be 2 or 3 heavyweights, sometimes more, but sometimes only me and one other guy. And I went to that Junior USA. And I remember all of us sitting in the back, waiting for the show. And we talking about bodybuilding. And they started talking about legs. And it was like, if you don't have at least 28-inch legs, you ain't going to make it in this sport. So I didn't say nothing at the time. I go home and I measure my quads, and they was 25. And I was like, shit, I got some work to do. And so I started, and I was very horrible. I couldn't hardly press anything. But I could do chin-ups and I could do squats. So I was doing chins with 3 plates strapped around my waist, and I was squatting 300-400 pounds at 185 pounds. I guess because I didn't know no better, but don't ask me to do a bench press. I was horrible.
And was the NPC Junior Nationals in '93 your first NPC national show?
My first NPC show was it was called the Southern States. No, not Southern States, but some Southeast show. Deke Warner won the first one. He won the light heavies at 198 and a quarter, and I won the heavies at 199. And that right there, that's when I first met Rope Man and Lee Haney and all them. I met Lee right before he went to his last Olympia in '91. And I met Ronnie. Ronnie was the security guard at that Olympia. He was about 220 pounds.
Ronnie Coleman?
Yep, Ronnie Coleman. And, that's when Vince Taylor came out doing the Terminator, the Transformer or whatever.
Yeah, Terminator, yeah.
After I saw that show, you got to understand, that was like my first show besides the little shows that I was doing. First pro show ever. And Lee Haney and Dorian Yates going up there. And I was on the 3rd row. So, yeah, I was toast after that. That's all I wanted to do after that was bodybuilding. I didn't want to do nothing else.
I remember when we first met, you had a full head of hair and the crooked. Yeah. The crooked.
You know what? I'm about to post some of them pictures. I just found them the other day, with hair. Matter of fact, from that whole show. Yeah, I had the long ponytail, and I cut it off right as I started bodybuilding. Because I was a stripper before I started bodybuilding. I actually was a stripper first, and I started lifting just to look better on stage. And I remember that first year I started dancing. I was like 200 pounds. And that's the first year I ever touched anything. And I gained like 54 pounds in like 3 months.
Wow.
And so every week, my brother was the MC, and every week he would announce my weight because my stage name was Diamond. And so he was like, ladies, you got to bring you a 200 carat diamond. Then next week it was a 205 carat diamond. And the next week it was a 210 carat diamond. And by the time I was like 245, I was just like growing out of my skin. It was crazy.
That's funny. Yeah, that '93 Junior Nationals was a stacked contest. Yeah. It was exciting.
Yeah, they was. I mean, you guys, and there was a couple other guys, but I considered you guys the threat. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't.
I was a middleweight. How was I?
Yeah, I know. They call. Well, I know, but I'm just saying, as far as just the way that you look and all of that, and they was calling me the swimmer because I was like 239, 237 or something, and the guys who did the show. Matter of fact, I just pulled those pictures up the other day. I wasn't a bodybuilder yet. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Being 6'2" at 237, I mean, that would do great now in the classic. But back then, that was, I was the lightest one on the stage and the tallest one on the stage. So
yeah, I had what was his name? Dave Marinelli beat me.
Yes. Yeah.
He had like that granite back.
Yeah.
He looked
Dave was concrete. He looked like concrete. He
looked like concrete.
He looked like concrete. It was crazy.
He had a crazy conditioning.
Yeah, that was a great.
Rod Ketchins won, I think, the overall that one.
Yeah, and so I was like, I'm like, Rob was like 190 something. I was like, how did I lose? Because I we were going for the overall, and I thought I had it hands down, and they told me I wasn't aggressive enough, and I was just like, well, I didn't want to feel like I was beating up on them. That was my first time. I didn't really know, and so after that, I was like, I'll never not be aggressive in a pose down ever again.
Cool.
Toney,
who was the first bodybuilder you met that kind of took your breath away or kind of just amazed you? Was like, oh my God, was it Dorian or Lee or who or anybody else?
I was pretty blessed, but seeing Arnold on Pump and Iron, that started it. Okay. And then after that, it was watching it on TV because bodybuilding used to come on TV every single day from like 10 or 11 in the morning to like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. It was, Musclemag, all those. And so I saw those people on TV. And then I remember my cousin, he was training me. That's the guy that really got me. He took me from 200 to 260. And he used to go back and forth to California. And he met Flex and all those guys. He was like, man, there's a dude named Flex Wheeler out in California. He reminded me, you said y'all got the same kind of structure and blah, 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 blah. And so 92, I flew out there for the USA. And I met Flex and Chris and all of them, Vicky Yates. I met them all.
Wow.
And that was like I say, I was blessed because Rope Man and Lee Haney trained at the gym. I used to drive all the way downtown to Animal Kingdom, and I remember being in Animal Kingdom one time. Did you ever get to go back in the day?
I never went. No.
So Animal Kingdom, it was like a door, it's a concrete building. Then you just walk. It's just a front door, glass door. And so I'm sitting in the front, just flipping through a magazine, and the sun is shining through the door. And all of a sudden, no sun was shining in the door, and I looked up, and it was Lee standing at the front desk, like 280. And I was like, I had never seen nothing like that before. I mean, still, like in my mind right now, I'm just like, that shit didn't make no sense. Lee was like, he was, like a couple of weeks out, and man, he just was mind blowing. And like I say, I was blessed to be around that type of crowd, that type of level of intensity.
That's so cool.
I learned, when I first started training seriously, we didn't count reps and sets. We use a stopwatch, and that right there is, that's what intensity is all about. And man, that's how I was able to get big legs. We used to do sets of 50. As soon as you walk in the door, first set is 50 reps. Like I trained with Rope Man. It was Rope, my roommate named Shelbert, Pepe. I don't know if you remember Pepe, but he turned pro, and Lex Luger,
yeah,
me, and we go in the gym, and Rope Man would start it off, right? So we whatever we train in legs, back, whatever. So Rope would start it off 50 reps, and you had to follow. And I usually went last or second to last. And before he started, he's like, "Now don't let me lap you," because the exercises, we had a whole gym to ourselves, and he would set up all the exercises. You go 50 reps here, then 50 reps here. And we would do round robin, 5 rounds, 50 reps on everything. And the Rope would try to catch you. So whoever's going last, he would try to, man, it was torture, bro. Serious torture.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's just, it's funny because today with all the social media, Instagram, all these new guys are like so worried about how they train, overtraining. And the way we trained back in the 90s, and look at the physiques. You don't build those physiques today like that. It's like a different level.
The guys today, there's some really good genetically gifted guys, and I know they work hard. But back then, like everybody, well, not everybody, but if you came in there in Rope Man's gym, you was training like that. And because I'm an ectomorph. So I remember, 2 years of that, and I was just like, I'm done with y'all. I can't. I'm like, I can't. I remember one show I did, and my legs shrunk like 1.5 inches. And I was like, I ain't training with y'all. That's just too much. That 50 reps was killing me.
That's great.
I used to have to lay in the floor literally almost an hour just to be able to get up and walk out and leave. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you would train and like whatever that last machine that you did, you'd be right there on the floor for 30, 45 minutes before I could get up to leave the gym.
Did you also get a chance to train with Lee Haney?
I never got a workout with Lee. So Lee, in '93, before I came to the juniors, I was in his new animal kingdom, and I had just won the Seaboard the week before, and I went to go see Lee, and I was like, Lee, I want to do the Junior Nationals because I won all the shows around here. I don't know what else to do. And he said, so I went in his office and peeled off for him. He said, T, you ready? Go do it. And then I did it, and the rest is history.
That's cool.
Yeah. So what show are you getting ready for?
Hopefully I get invited to the Masters Olympia. I'll find out on the 24th.
Cool.
And that's August 26th.
April
24th. They make the announcement. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And it's going to be in Romania.
Nice.
Yeah. I've never traveled that far for a show.
Wow. Yeah. That first time you go overseas it's a learning experience. We after every Olympia, we would all go on the tour. After Arnold, we would go to Australia, and competing and then trying to peak again the next week or whatever. That's a skill. That's a skill set. It's not easy to do.
Yeah. So any tips on
the tour? Well, you don't want to do this, but on the tour after the Olympia, I remember that one year I did, I think 2009 or 10, I did 11 shows.
Wow.
And, 4 of them were after the Olympia. So it was like, so I would literally fly to Europe. So the show is Saturday. I go home on Sunday, pack all my stuff, leave on Tuesday, go to the show, come back, and then I would instead of me staying over there and just going to the next city, I would fly all the way back and go cook all my food again, go do my colonic and all that. So I mean, I was getting so many miles. I literally I think it was a 6-week period. We did 4 shows, and I literally would do the show, fly back home, do all my prep, then fly back over again. It was a lot easier to control your physique that way, because sometimes, like first time I went to Spain, no one that I was talking to, no one that I was communicating with spoke English. So it was almost impossible to get anything that you needed over there. So I ended up eating at TGI Fridays, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the show. So I was like, I don't know, 17 pounds heavier than I was the week before. Lex Lewis beat me that year. I was mad as hell. I was just like, I'm over here in Spain. I was like, never again. I'll never be in that situation where, I can't control my prep. And so I used to buy my tickets and, fly back home and do everything. And I end up doing a lot better that way.
So you got any tips for me going to Romania?
Just be in shape like 3 weeks out. So when you're in proper condition, you can withstand a lot of that stuff. The second year, the year after the year I'm telling you about, all the young bucks flew over to Spain, and I wasn't really laughing, but I was just like, because I came downstairs to breakfast and everybody was just chowing down, and they use a lot of salt over there in Spain. And I felt so sorry for them dudes. I'm like, boy, in 2 days y'all gonna be Puff Daddy. Because I mean, that's all that was. That was all that was available. Because you try to speak English to them in Spain, they're like, it's impossible. And I'm just like, man, I just want a fork. What are you talking about? I mean, it was hard, bro. It was hard. It was hard.
Do you miss competing at all?
I miss performing. I don't miss the game, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I miss performing. I miss the stage. I miss the fans. But you know how much work it takes to do that, and especially when you're your life. It's your livelihood. It's no longer a hobby or anything like that. And so I don't miss it. No, okay. I don't really at all. I thought about getting ready. Using that Masters Olympia, as a motivation or whatever. but I didn't even know it was invite only. I was gonna actually just start training and see what happens. But I definitely wasn't gonna commit, just because, like I say, I don't want to go down that path. I don't want to go back to, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't even want to fall back into that trance. And I'm not saying everybody was like that, but you have to understand, I started at 21 and I wished for this, you know what I mean? And slowly but surely I got it. And then I told people I went from being, inspired to motivated to dedicated to consistent to obsessed and then, possessed. Because you ever hear people say I'm in beast mode and all that? Well,
Yep.
that's really a thing. You know what I'm saying? To where it's almost like you got like an amplifier on you. It's like you plus some extra, and I call that the beast. And yeah, that's real. It was definitely real for me.
No,
But is it a bad thing though? I mean, I consider like laser focus. Is it a bad thing though?
Oh, see, laser focus is one thing, but when you put everything else, it becomes your God. To be honest with you, you
Okay.
literally start worshiping yourself. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to get into a religious thing, but you literally are worshiping the image in the mirror, like for real. Like everything that you do is for that. If somebody tells you, come to my wedding, nope. Go, you know what I'm saying? Like I've missed so much shit. I was supposed to be in a couple of movies. I mean, but you have to have balance. And I'm speaking for me. I'm not saying everybody's like that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's what happened to me.
So. I completely understand, because that was the main concern I had when I started thinking about competing again.
Yep.
And I just made that decision that I just wanted to do it a better way.
Yep.
And I didn't like the person who I was, so I appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because you get into that tunnel vision, and you treat people differently, you act differently. There's so many things that I missed, family events, weddings. So I get what you're saying. Yeah. But now
you have to be like that. And if you have a team, which, I've had a lot of people to assist, but you still have to do all the work. And, somebody will help you get ready for one show, maybe 2 shows, but 9 shows, like, bro, you crazy. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let me get this myself. So I cooked all my own meals for the most part. But like I said, I had people to help me. So I trained with Anthony Aponte. He did everything. He's the one that got me over 300. So when I got past 300,
was he a trainer?
He used to train Victor and those guys. I think he lives in Vegas now, but he's the one that showed me how to really eat and train to last. You know what I'm saying? Before that, and of course I worked with Dave and all that after that. So Dave showed me how to really dial it in and bring it to the stage, which was a totally different approach than what Anthony was doing. Because Anthony, I was eating like 7, 8, 9, 10 meals some days with him. He would wake me up at 4:30 in the morning with some GH. And then I'd wake up again at 6 and have a protein shake. And we wake up again. I mean, he had built this room for me, a bedroom, and he called it the incubator. So he put aluminum foil on the window so no light can come through. And basically I would eat. He had a chair for me. I would eat, then go back to the incubator. Then I'd wake up, come back and eat again, go back to the incubator, wake up, come back again, go eat again, go train.
Jeez.
Get a massage, chiropractor, whatever, come back, eat, go back to the incubator. I used to take like 4 or 5 naps a day. I mean, I went from 284 to 308 in like 2 weeks doing that. It was insane. But I didn't literally, he literally sat me down and said, listen, here's the remote, here's your chair. I don't want you to do anything other than lift your fork and lift the weights when I give them to you. He changed all my weights, counted all the reps, all that shit. He used to wring me out like a towel. I had nothing left. Then he put me in the car, drive me home, feed me. It was crazy, but hell, it worked. So I didn't argue with it.
And when you worked with Dave, did you switch over to the keto diet?
Yeah, Dave, he showed me how to do keto. I remember the first week I did his diet. I lost 22 pounds in the first 7 days. And my wife was like, I don't think I like this diet. I'm like, I don't either. And then the next 7 days I gained the 22 pounds back, but it was a totally different physique. And
I did the same thing when I competed in 08 for the Masters Nationals. Yeah. I did the keto.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. And the longest I ever stayed truly strict I did 16 shows in 18 months, and I was on the program. 400 grams of carbs one day a week. The rest was 50 grams of all fibrous carbs. The
Wow.
rest, so literally 18 months.
So one day a week you'd eat 400 grams of complex carbs?
Yep.
And then the rest
potato or white potato.
What's that?
Sweet potato or white potato or rice sometimes.
And the next 6 days was just vegetables and protein.
All veggies, fats, protein, veggies, and fats.
What was your source of fats?
Salmon. I use bison. We use olive oil. Eggs, whole eggs. Just whole food. Oh, we did all whole food. Matter of fact, we would have peanut butter in the whey protein shake, and so I did have a couple of shakes a day.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was hardcore, but I mean, it worked because I used to be full as a house on 50 grams of carbs. Full as a house. I couldn't even comprehend it. But you know, when your body starts breaking down fat, it breaks it down into, you know, glycerol, ketones, fatty acids, and so the glycerol during that breakdown, it acts as glucose in your muscle. So over a period of time, you start to get full. And man, I used to get full and dry. And like I say, no, if I could do it all again, I probably would have avoided the diuretics, and I would have been watery some shows, but some shows I would have been crazy because I used to stay like that. I remember when I did one of my DVDs, the X-Man Cometh, that Tuesday and Wednesday, man, that was crazy. I wish I could walk on stage looking like that. So, but all that was 50 grams of carbs.
Toney, what show or what year do you think you had your absolute best physique?
So everybody says 08 now, and I would have to agree, but 07, 07 Ironman, 08 Olympia, and 09 Olympia, I think it was the best I ever was, but I didn't bring that to the stage. I think I peaked like on Thursday or Friday. I peaked on Thursday morning. And I'm pretty sure I would have got better, but I bust my bursa sac on my way to the athletes meeting on the way to the meet and greet. And I took some ibuprofen, which I never. I think I've taken 4 ibuprofen in my entire life, and 3 of them, maybe 5 in my entire life, and 3 of them was that weekend, and it jacked me up. And I started.
Was that your knee?
Yeah. So I think 2009 was probably my best ever as far as what it looked like. It's, you know what I'm saying, and maybe 09 Arnold Classic. I dried out too much, but that Thursday, I never forget. I think I told this story, but I never forget when Ronnie Coleman came to my room, and I peeled off for him, and he just sat back on the bed and was like, damn, they're gonna have to go to outer space to find somebody to beat that. And he's like, whatever you do, don't do nothing else. And I was like, but I haven't done nothing yet. He said, well, don't do nothing then. And of course, we still tried to dry out and messed it all up. But you know,
I tell guys all that all the time.
Those kind of stories as well.
I hear you. I said
the 2013 Arnold Classic. The deal with that is we did the Masters Olympia, right? That was in December, and Dennis James started training me. So we went to go to dinner the next day, and so he got me a sponsorship with one of the company down in Brazil, and he was like, "We're starting prep right now." And this was like Saturday night. You know, I'm trying to eat something after the show. He's like, "We're starting prep right now, so you got to eat." And so I basically did that show Saturday and started my prep that night for the Arnold, and overdid it with the diuretics in that one. So ended up with 3rd. And you got to understand, when I say overdid it, I used to take a 25 milligram diazide and bust open the capsule and divide it into 3 piles, 3 little sections, and do one at a time. And that was too much.
Oh, interesting.
Crazy.
So, Toney, I'm following your Instagram, and it looks like you're more active at the gym nowadays because I see some of your posts and whatnot. Is there something that kind of triggered you to get back in and start getting more active again, or?
I've been going to the gym, but I was only doing cardio and circuit training. So I just started doing like chest and shoulders and bis and tris. So, I mean, I just started that like 3 weeks ago. And a friend of mine that owns Project AD, he gave me a couple of supplements, and one of his pump supplements, I tried it because I haven't had one of them crazy pumps in 4 years, bro. And so I tried his product. I forgot the name of it, but
Is it Matador?
huh?
Matador?
Matador and Nitrox or something.
Okay.
So I took some of that and went to the gym. Man, I had the craziest pump, and that kind of got me fired up. And so I've been using that. I've been using this stuff for the last 7 or 8 days.
Hey,
And,
you got 20 weeks for the Masters Olympia.
So, like I said, I'm going to mentally head down that road as far as training and being consistent. And because I would like to have my physique back at least. You know, I don't want to be heavy no more. So I'm trying to keep my weight below 240. You know, my goal is to be like in shape at 235. So, you know, I'm still doing intermittent fasting. I'm only eating twice a day. So I'll probably add a meal maybe. But that's about it. I'm not, you know, like I said, I don't want to revisit that, but it's kind of cool because I'm cool now in the head. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm me again. So I'm not really concerned with, you know, bringing back the demons and all that other stuff. I just, you know, I got abs and I mean, my veins popping out again. So I want to, you know, cap the shoulders out and fill out and just look good. You know, I want to be able to take my shirt off in public again. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's a crazy feeling to be. You know, I would peel off anywhere back in the day, and now I can't do that. So,
well, I'm sure you probably look pretty good.
I mean, it's coming back. I must admit, it's coming back. So, like I said, I got abs again. My legs never did lose any separation. I mean, they're not striated or nothing, but you know, I tell people all the time, you know, it's mind muscle connection and it's control. So I still, you know, I probably could still get on stage and rock the house as far as posing and all that, but you know, that's a journey, and I kind of am having fun. You know, spend a lot of time with my wife. We have a business together, and so I'm really just trying to be that man that I've always been. But you know, like I say, when you're dedicated to bodybuilding, you know, that was first. I put it first because it gave me what I wanted. You know, in other words, I put in the work and I got the prize or whatever you want to say. I never won the Olympia, but I scared the shit out of him a couple times. So
I seriously think that if you were to go down that road again and compete as the new person that you are now, I think you would be inspiring a whole set of new guys over 40, over 50, and bring in a whole new package of mindset that most people don't think of. And it's a pleasure listening to what you're saying, and you know, not a lot of people will admit that, like, you know, what you're saying. And I said it myself, like, you didn't like who you were and you wanted to change it. And there's so many men out there that don't realize that it's okay to talk, you know?
Oh yeah, you got it. Well, you got to understand, I'm free. Like, you know, like I said, I'm a preacher's kid, and I never, you know, you have to pray, oh Lord, help, forgive me, blah blah blah, and you know, then I go do it again the next time. So you know what I'm saying. So when I finally came to grips and I repented, and repentance means you change the way you think. And so I changed the way I think. And so now that same thing wouldn't even affect me in the same way. So like I say, now I can, you know, I wouldn't mind guest posing at the Romania show or something. You know, of course so I'll probably work towards that to where I look good enough to where they would invite me to guest pose. Cause you know, when we did the Masters, you had Robbie Robinson guest pose, a couple other people guest pose at that show who were masters. Boyer Cole, I think, guest pose. You know what I'm saying? It was like all those old guys or whatever, the old school guys or whatever. That was really cool. So I would probably be willing to do something like that. You know, just to do it one more time or something like that.
That's Toney, cool. Would you do it all over again, knowing what you know now? Would you do it all over again?
Of course, and especially knowing what I know of. I'm 100%, because now I know where I went left. You know what I mean? Where you got to understand, being, you know how they say people got short man complex? Well, I think I had tall man complex. When people used to say, well, you know, this is a short man's sport or it's a young man's game. And I was like, it's a grown man's game. And I said, if it was a short man's sport, then Franco would have been the man and Arnold would have been the sidekick. You know what I'm saying? So being 6'2", I felt like I felt like I was dominating as far as size and, you know, having a small waist and all that. And so, yes, I would do it again. But if I had the knowledge that I have now, it would have been a totally different situation. Number one, I probably would have never torn my pec. And, who knows what would have happened, what I would have been able to do, with that. Because I never was able to get that upper body thickness because I had to train around that injury. So before I tore my pec, like that prep, man, that was crazy. So, I mean, my chest used to pump up almost to my chin. That was one of my best body parts. So after I tore my pec, that's why I quit. I was like, well, shit, I'm done. I said, I'm all about symmetry and proportion. So with a torn pec, I'll never be able to build that. And finally in 2002, I got my pec repaired. And shoot, I was like, well, let me go try it. And so it kind of worked out.
It's funny how you mentioned a tall man's game. If obviously you follow the sport now, there's a lot more taller aesthetic people coming in, like the Samsons
they're about to
and
take
whatnot.
over.
That it's not a short man's game.
Oh, in a minute, it's gonna be Quentin. Quentin's coming. I just saw him, so his name came out of my mouth first. But Andrew and Samson and Quentin, those are the three dudes you're gonna see them. They're gonna be dominating the sport. And I love Nick, and I love all the rest of them, Adi and Derek, all those guys. And so they might end up, because of the domination of those three, they might make it tall and short again. Because I'm telling you right now, if them boys bring, they just need polish. All three of them, Samson, Quentin, and Andrew, they just need polish. Once they polish and they walk out on stage at 285 and in shape, there ain't gonna be nothing nobody can do. Because none of them have pec tears. You know what I'm saying? They're not missing anything. They just need polish. That's it.
Yeah.
Learn how to pose. Not that they don't know how to pose. I'm saying you got to learn how to pose all that new muscle, because Andrew's they all put on about 20 in the last year or two. So it's going to take them a while to get used to that, to really learn how to pose it. But 12 months, this time next year, getting ready for, the Arnold. 2024, them dudes going to be dominating the sport. They already are, but I'm saying, like, it'll be them 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, dude,
they have the same kind of shape as the shorter guys, but they're 60 pounds heavier and 6 inches taller.
Yeah.
It was me up there for a while. So Gunther passed the torch to me. Then I passed the torch to Cedric. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it was just one usually. Ed came along, and then Cedric came along. You know what I'm saying? But
now Sean, rest his soul. Sean Roden, rest his soul.
Sean was still like 5'11", 5'10". He wasn't really that tall. I mean, he's tall, not 5'8", 5'9", but you see what I'm saying? Now you got 3 or 4 guys over 6 foot.
Yep.
That that have really great physiques, and they're bringing in the condition. They got sponsors behind them. So it's gonna be. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I got my popcorn. I'm a fan, and the reason why I used to push for the things and I love to see they're doing a lot of the stuff that I was trying to get them to do back in, when I was competing, because it makes the sport more interesting. The way that they call out, do worst to first now instead of first to last, like they used to do. That makes it, like the Sweet 16. You go from the 16 down to the last man standing. And I'm so glad that they switched it up and started doing it like that. So
it's a good change.
So Tony, last question, and we'll wind down here. Fast forward now, you wake up in the morning. How you feeling? Anything bothered you? Knees, shoulders, anything?
I'm doing pretty good. So every once in a while, I'll get some kind of tweak, and it'll last for 2 or 3 days. But nothing crazy. I'm knock on wood. Nothing crazy. I feel like I said, I got my blood work done the other day, and it was pretty pristine. I only had 1 H, 1 high, and it was just like 1 tick. And so I was like, wow, okay, cool. Because like I say, when I first quit, there was a lot of deficiencies. I was deficient in a lot of nutrients and stuff like that, omegas and minerals and all that. And so now all that stuff is, ticking in the right direction. So,
Tony, if anybody is listening that's interested in diving into gut health with an ozone colonic, how would they research to find that?
To be honest with you, I don't know anybody that's doing it now, and I'm not saying that nobody's doing it. You just have to search, colon hydrotherapy and then ozone. So I know there's people that's doing ozone therapy, but it's not colonic, and I know people doing colonic, but without the ozone.
What's the difference?
The ozone is the difference. Like I say, you could get ozone therapy. Dave knows about it, but doing it with the colonic, it's extra. It does other things because that ozone goes through your portal vein in your liver, through your colon to your liver, and goes through all out your body and kills all that crap in your body. Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, you could just reach out to me on my Instagram, TFXman305, my Facebook, Toney Freeman, and I'll do whatever I can. You see my shirt, it says DNA dealer, and we have doing customized nutrition where you basically do a swab and then you get these 4 reports and they can build a supplement specific to your DNA. It's pretty cool.
What's that website, Toney?
Nucleogenics. So if you go to gutbraintriad.com, that'll take you to my site. Gutbraintriad.com.
Cool.
Cool.
Perfect.
Well, thank you so much for your time tonight, Toney.
Oh man, thank you. Thanks for having me. I love to do this, so it's all good. I appreciate you.
Toney, it's truly been a pleasure. And for everybody listening, next week, the lovely Ardella Garcia joins the show. As always, thank you so much and have a great rest of the week.
Awesome.
Good night, Toney.
Thanks, man. Good night.